Rain showers, cloudy skies, and a low at 36 degrees. Tuesday, lingering rainfall in the morning. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy with a high around 46 degrees. For Wednesday, we'll see isolated showers and thunderstorms with cloudy skies. Thursday, rain showers are likely with cloudy skies and a high of 46. Friday, mostly cloudy with a high around 47. And Saturday, some isolated rain showers again in the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Amanda Edwards of the Wsgw Weatherology Forecast. Currently 31.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show. Brand new week for you. Do you believe we're 2/3 of the way through March already? And it's spring. Yay! Coming to you from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. Get her on board for you for your residential and commercial real estate needs by calling her at 989-295-7713. 989-295-7713. Or stop in and visit her at the Point, M46 and M47 in Saginaw Township, where you'll also find Cafe 476 and its delicious soups and foods and all kinds of wonderful things. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll be talking to Senator Jim Stamas about state issues. At 11 o'clock, we will focus on the Children's Grief Center. But we're going to be in this hour talking about an event coming up this afternoon at the Great Lakes Bay Economic Club and also presented by the Stevens Center for Family Business. It's a look at family business, economic impact, and legislative issues and voter attitudes that revolve around the business world. And with us to talk about it this morning, we have two guests. We have, first of all, we say good morning to the keynote speaker this afternoon, Patricia Soldano, President and CEO of Family Enterprises USA. Pat, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Also with us is John from the Business Development, Director of Business Development at Saginaw Valley State University. John, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
We're doing well. Thanks. Pat, I want to start with you because you focus on family enterprise, you focus on family business. Given the inflation rate, the labor problems, supply chain problems, are family businesses still thriving in the United States?
They absolutely are thriving, and that's because they're resilient, and that's because they plan their businesses for the long term as a legacy to their children and also to their communities. So, and many of them through the pandemic, they struggled a little better in 2021, but 90% of them retained employees. And if they had to let off employees, most of them, small percent, because they, as I said, they plan their business for the long term, and they think long term. They think multi-generational. In fact, you may not be aware, but 87% of the businesses in America are family-owned businesses, and they generate 59% of the workforce, 83 million jobs, and 54% of the GDP, or $7.7 trillion, and that's why legislators need to care.
I would be correct, I believe, when I say that family business knows no size limits. Is that right? I mean, you know, if you ask the average person what a family business is, they might think of the mom and pop shop down the street, but there are some pretty big family businesses, aren't there?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So Family Enterprise USA, we're an advocacy organization. We represent all family businesses of all sizes and all industries. And we represent the families of those businesses. So we're like a trade association that represents issues in Washington, D.C., and we are a national organization headquartered in Washington, D.C. Family issues And this year, the most important issue, that economic issue that families are facing, is income tax. Income tax, estate tax, too much regulation, and talent retention is at the top of their list this year. But family businesses can be anything from the Waltons of the world to the mom and pop, as you said. There are organizations that focus, trade associations that focus only on specific industries, like National Association of Manufacturers, excellent trade associations. They focus on just manufacturing issues and primarily the business issues. And then you have organizations, independent business, that focuses on small business issues. We, again, are an advocacy organization that focuses on all sizes and all industries of businesses. And it's really important. I will say that our members typically tend to be on more the medium to larger size, because I think at that point, family businesses know and understand how important advocacy is. And so when you're a smaller business, usually you're just trying to make payroll and you're struggling to be that medium, large size business. Typically, that advocate tend to be $10 million in revenue. I'm a strong advocate of advocacy. Obviously, I've been doing it for 25 years. And I think it's really important. And the laws in this country are going to change. And so if you're not part of that solution, as people say, you're not going to like the solution. And so the business owners.
And, you mentioned the laws changing. That is inevitable on a constant basis, isn't it?
It is. It is changing. And what most people aren't aware of is in this Build Back Better Act, what appears to be somewhat dead. As most people know, it passed the House, went to the Senate, and it's sitting in the Senate. Even Senator Schumer has said that it's an uphill battle to get something done. And you have Senator Schumer who won't, Senator Sinema who won't increase taxes, and you have Senator Manchin who won't increase spending. So the Senate has a really hard time getting things done. But in the Build Back Better Act, I'll be specific about that. There were 5 provisions that most people maybe weren't even aware of. We were fighting very, very hard because they were buried in the 1,600-page document. They wanted to lower the lifetime exemption for the estate tax from its current $11.7 million, which is a very allows families to do a lot of planning, $1 million right away, January of this year. They wanted to eliminate valuation discount for non-business, which could be in the family business. Valuation discounts are very important for family businesses. They use them to pass their business on in a totally justified and permittable way through LLCs or LPs or S corps. That was going to go away. Grantor trusts are going to be eliminated. We all know who anyone does any estate planning or any planning realizes how important grantor trusts are for families to define how they want their business to pass on from one generation to another. What are the rules? How's it going to be managed? And that is one of the things that was going to be virtually eliminated in that provision. Mm-hmm. To not allow IRAs to hold private stock. And what that means is, that means if you have a business stock ownership in your IRA, you're going to have to get it out. And there are families that do that. And lastly, they were going to substantially reduce 199A, which is basically the provisions that gave family businesses some estate tax, or I should say income tax benefits. In the TCJA Act that President Trump passed, corporate America got a 21% tax rate, and family businesses are still paying 35% because they operate what's through pass-through these LPs, S corps. As a matter of fact, we just did this survey that I'm going to present today, just closed at the end of February, just got the results finals on Friday. 60% of the respondents operate through an S corp. So really, really important, that family businesses continue to kind of get the short end of the stick, and corporate America seems to get, the tax breaks. So that's why legislation and paying attention to legislation is so important.
We should point out, because I don't want to confuse people, because you tend to separate family business from corporate America, but there are a lot of family businesses that are corporations, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And 21% of ours do operate as a corporation. And there are family businesses that are public, but the family still controls. So back to your original question, kind of what is a family business? Our broad definition, and we have research which we've defined it more specifically, is a family business is a family business if the family controls the business either by management or ownership. And so, again, you could have a public company. There's instances of that in this country where the company's public, but the largest block of stock is actually owned by the family. And so we would consider that a family business.
All right. Hang on, both of you. John, we'll get to you too. John Gugliada is with us. He is the Director of Strategic Relationships for Family Enterprise USA. More ahead on the Art Lewis Show after these notes.
You are invited to join the Great Lakes Bay Economic Club this Monday, 5 a.m. at SVSU's Curtis Hall to learn about family business economic impact. Patricia Soldano, president of Family Enterprise USA and senior fellow at the Drucker School Global Family Business Institute, is the keynote speaker. She will cover legislative issues, voter attitudes, and the economic impact of family businesses. Sign up now at glbec.org for this highly informative lunch this Monday at SVSU's Curtis Hall. That's glbec.org to learn more.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
At the United States Postal Service, with advanced tech, we can reach over 160 million addresses across the country. We're delivering for thinkers, doers, movers, shakers, groundbreakers, future. So no matter what business you're in, always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/delivering.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Term 800-481-1458 or visit Big Lou. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds.
Want your biggest possible tax refund this year? Hewitt and your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will prepare your federal return for as little and no more than $107. Taxes done where you shop. Your biggest federal refund guaranteed. Stop by Jackson Hewitt in any participating Walmart store today because this offer won't last. Terms apply.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will offer more insights into the economy today. Powell is addressing the National Association of Business Economists. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is buying New York-based reinsurance company Allegheny Corp. It's paying more than $11.5 billion. Buffett says he has closely observed Allegheny for 60 years. The Shanghai Disney Resort is closed today until further notice, citing China's recent wave of COVID-19 because of the recent outbreak there. The resort includes Shanghai Disneyland. But Foxconn Technology, which manufactures iPhones, says it is back to full capacity manufacturing in Shenzhen, China, after it was forced to halt production last week because of the COVID outbreak. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda, invested in you.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation's 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit is a tribute to all who lost their lives on September 11, 2001, or from 9/11 related illnesses. This high-tech 83-foot tractor trailer transforms into an 1,100 square foot exhibit, a tool to educate people about 9/11. Visit it in a city near you and join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Annette Glenn believes police is radical and dangerous. Michigan's murder rate, 14th highest in the nation. Violent crime, above the national average. Annette Glenn backed more funding for police to keep us safe. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
On the next Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins show.
Did the CDC accidentally admit they've been lying this whole time?
Oh, buddy.
Where's your mask? Where is your mask? Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you and our guest this morning from the Family Enterprise USA. Its president and CEO, Patricia Soldano. Also with us is John Gugliada. He is the Director of Strategic Relationships with the organization. And Pat will be speaking this afternoon, as you heard in the spot earlier. Doors open at 11:45, keynote at 12:15 at the Saginaw Valley State University Banquet Center upstairs in the Commons. And the presentation presented by the Great Lakes Bay Economics Club and the Stevens Center for Family Business. John, let me talk to you for a moment. Describe your function with Family Enterprises. What's your responsibility?
Well, I'm in charge of growing the membership and obviously sponsorship. This past year, we've put a pretty high focus on getting closer to the family business centers across the country. There's quite a few of them, and they do a great job, like the Stevens Center. And, you know, my job has been trying to get closer to them. There's a lot of synergies between what we do and obviously what they do. And so that's been my function in the last probably 11, 12 months, is just to get closer to them, have them understand what we do. They don't do advocacy. That's what we do. And just, you know, as I said, try to strengthen that relationship.
And you say advocacy, the word that comes to my mind is lobbying, and I assume you do that too, right? As an organization.
Well, FEUSA is an advocacy group. So we're a 501c3. So we don't lobby. We educate. Last year, I'll let Pat jump in at some point, but she did, I think, 125 plus Hill visits. That's a lot in terms of trying to, you know, educate legislators on the issues that are affecting family businesses.
It's a fine line between advocacy and lobbying, isn't it, Pat?
Yeah, and Art, I would. Yeah, there is a little bit of a fine line, but this is how I define it. We ask legislators to help family business, and we do that by, as John just said, educating them, going to them now that we have these, but this year, telling them these are the top economic priorities for family businesses. These are their top tax concerns. This is how they made it through the pandemic. This is how you can help them. Lobbying, if we're lobbying, we're asking them to sign on specific legislation, specific bills. And I can do that personally. If I think that's important, then I don't do that through Family Enterprise USA. I do that personally. And anyone can do that personally as a volunteer. And there are times that we do that. There are some current estate tax legislation, both in the House and the Senate, that we would like to see co-sponsors of, and it reduces the rate from 40% to 20%. And we ask our members to support that and our supporters as well, because I also run Policy and Taxation Group, which is a similar organization, but a 501c4. But FEUSA really has a broader agenda, and it focuses on educating economic and tax challenges that family businesses has, you know, as John just defined.
So, you know, in this day and age, in the political climate that there is in Washington, with midterms coming up, do you really expect anything to get done before November?
That's a great question. The answer is if something doesn't get done before Memorial Day, it's unlikely. And I know that the Democrats in the House and Senate are working hard to do that. So is President Biden. They're trying to negotiate with their moderates and their progressives, and the Democrats are in charge. So they can make this happen if they want to make it happen. And I should have mentioned from the very beginning, we are a bipartisan organization. We work with both parties. I've learned in 25 years you can't do this with one party. You have to work with both parties. And so it's really critical. We have great relationships with both parties. We focus on Senate Finance, Ways and Means Committee, Problem Solvers Caucus, because those are the ones that are the decision makers and the leaders. And so we're thinking that there could be some legislation. It could revolve around climate change or energy or other issues that there is some bipartisanship around, and certainly the war in Ukraine. But I don't know if there's going to be much in there. I should mention that right now, the Build Back Better part of the bill that's in the Senate does include a provision that and so we're hoping that if there is a bill that gets through in some way, shape, or form, no matter how broken up it is, it doesn't include that. And that is, there is a surtax, an income tax surtax of an additional 5% on your income tax if you make over $10 million a year, which is a heck of a lot of money for an individual. But if you operate through a trust, and some family businesses operate through a trust, that threshold is only $200,000. So if you have $200,000 of income from your business and it flows through a trust, you're going to pay another 5% in taxes. And then there's another threshold for tax for people making over $25 million. And for a trust, that threshold's only $500,000. Now that may sound like a little in the weeds, but that is really, really critical. Again, those thresholds are so low for trust. And if your business is in a trust and you operate through a trust and that's where your income flows through, you could be paying an additional 8% tax, income tax, which, most family businesses cannot survive. So we are pointing that out to members of Congress. Almost every single meeting that we've had, they've told us, well, nobody's talked to them about it. They didn't know it was in there. They don't know why it's in there. And that's why you have to keep doing this.
That's the problem with some of these huge 1,000+ page bills. It's in the minutia. And
it is absolutely.
I have just listening to you. I have a feeling you're not losing any sleep over the fact that the Build Back Better bill isn't doing anything.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, our hope is it goes nowhere because the provisions in it do nothing but harm family businesses. And so I'm sure there are some good provisions in there, there's things in there that people want to get done. And so I hope they can break them out and get them done to help this country. But we really believe most of the provision tax for family businesses is pretty devastating.
A lot of family businesses are passed down, as you mentioned. The people build their business for their future generations. I imagine some of these businesses go back a long, long way in family history, don't they?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question that you asked, because that's one of the questions that we asked our members this year. And in fact, 60% of our members have been in business over 30 years. 16% have been in business over 100 years. 30% been in business 50 to 100 years. So this is what's hard, and legislators are finally learning this, is that when a family plans their business, they plan it for, as I mentioned, the legacy, the long term. If that business has to be sold for whatever reason, for the estate tax or other reasons, not only does the family lose their livelihood, the employees lose their livelihood, but the other statistics most people forget is the community giving that those businesses give.
Yeah.
This year, 76% of those businesses give locally. So all that local charitable giving, and that's a powerful statistic for legislators.
Yeah, we have a lot of that.
Businesses. Go ahead.
We have a lot of that around here. We have some very philanthropic business owners that are family businesses, So we've seen that in action.
Exactly.
We've seen that in action. John, let me ask you, the younger generation, as they come into the family business, if they haven't been in it all their lives, are they as eager to join an organization like FEUSA as the older generation might be?
Well, I think what you're saying is, we just had this conversation actually from the airport with Regina Heinrich, who's a director over at Stevens Center, in terms of, how the younger generations are getting involved. A lot of the family business centers have, I would say some kind of education on what they call next gen in terms of getting them ready, getting them to understand, what they're getting involved in. I come from family business, so I can, feel the pain and even the positives, if you will, of that is a family business. But yeah, we're getting younger people. Actually, one of our board members is, we call him the young man. He's much younger than me. But yeah, we're finding that we're getting some younger folks that understand that, we need their leadership moving forward.
All right, hang on. I got to take a break and we'll come back with more. We're talking to Pat Saldano. She is the president and CEO of Family Enterprise USA, and John Gugliada, and he is the director of strategic relationships for Family Enterprise USA. They will both be at Saginaw Valley State University this afternoon for the Great Lakes Bay Economic Club Luncheon, co-sponsored by the Stevens Center for Family Business. More on it when we return. But speaking of family businesses, let me tell you about one that I've been representing for, about 17 years now, the Thalen Auto Group and the Thalen family. They've been serving your automotive needs for 45 years. And the brothers, Pat, Joe, and of course, Mike, run the various dealerships there on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City, where they feature Audi, Volkswagen, Subaru, Mazda, Honda, Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. All those dealerships side by side do something besides just present you with a great deal of choice of new cars. They provide you with hundreds of opportunities for pre-owned vehicles, one of the largest collections of pre-owned vehicles in the marketplace, and they inspect each one of them and bring them up to their standards. They also, aside from trade-ins, scour the market for cars that will fit their needs and your needs. So you can shop not only pre-owned used cars, but certified pre-owned used cars from their various marks. And you don't have to spend days going from dealership to find a good selection. Simply stop in at the Thalen Auto Group, North Euclid Avenue in Bay City, or go online to thinkthalen.com. And as I mentioned, the Thalen family has been serving your automotive needs for better than 45 years. We'll be back right after these notes.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retirement. They talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
As a Blue Cross Medicare, access to care as soon as you need it. You can schedule appointments for checkups or routine care at a time that's convenient for you. You can also call our customer service team to ask for information and get the help you need. With Blue Cross, it's easy to get the care you need whenever you need them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Confidence comes with every card. To learn more, visit bcbsm.com/senior options.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Complete your bathroom update with new bath cabinets and vanities from Magic Woods. With many it's easy to find the right match for your decor. Right now, get 11% off all bath cabinets and vanities from Magic Woods. Good through March 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
News. If you have unfiled tax returns, the IRS is shifting gears and ramping up investigations on non-filers this year. If you fail to file your tax returns for a year or more, or you owe back taxes, now's the time to call Optima Tax Relief before the IRS finds you. Optima is America's #1 most trusted tax resolution firm. Families and businesses get right with the IRS. They're experts in the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, a powerful new program that can make resolving tax issues easier. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, Optima's award-winning team has helped thousands of people protect their paychecks, bank accounts, homes, and businesses by putting their tax problems to rest, resolving over $1 billion in tax debts for their clients. For a free consultation,
call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hear about the cultural contributions and concerns of the Hispanic community in the Great Lakes Bay region on one of WSGW's new public affairs programs. I'm Larry Rodarte, publisher of Mi Gente magazine, and I'm inviting you to join us for Mi Gente On Air Sunday evenings at 8 p.m.
The WSGW Broadcasting Studios are sponsored by the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center in Midland.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and my guest is the Family Enterprise USA is Patricia Soldano, the president and CEO, also with us. Speaking with us this morning is John Gugliada, and he is the director of relationships for the organization. Pat, what got you into this? What brought about the Family Business Enterprise USA, Family Enterprise USA?
Well, Family Enterprise USA was actually founded in 2007 by a family in Minneapolis who wanted businesses and their job growth in America. I didn't get involved until about 3 or 4 years ago. I was running my own business, which is a family office business. Sold that business to GenSpring, built that business over 20 plus years. Worked for GenSpring for some time, but at the same time, I had founded a company called Policy and Taxation Group in 1995, headquartered in Washington, D.C., and its sole purpose was to eliminate gift, estate, and generation skipping tax and reform of that tax. And the reason I got motivated to do that at the young age of 38, and I had to deal with the estate tax and how horrible it was on the family, not so much the economics, but the emotional toll. And her mother died 5 years later. So I had to deal with a true loss. And since then, I've dealt with a lot more firsthand experiences. So I realized the power of advocacy. I realized the power of talking to members of Congress and telling them what's important. They want to hear from constituents. They want to hear what they should be doing. That's what they're there for. And while, politicians don't have a high approval rating, most of them go to D.C. to try and make a change and do the right. So that's my passion. I've worked my whole career with family businesses. I think they're so important to this country. And they not only bring great jobs and economic growth, but they bring usually a great kind of culture to the country and to the people that employ them. And this is a perfect example, Art. I'd like to talk just briefly about how they survived the pandemic.
Yep.
Family businesses are very resilient. And as we just got in the survey results, 90% of them kept their staff employed. 90%. They did everything they could possibly do to do that. 54% in 2021 actually added, and then 39%, they work remotely. They're 80% of them grew their business in 2021, and they expect in 2022, 89% of them expect their businesses to grow in 2022. And that's again because they can pivot. They are a little more strategic, I think, in some ways. They don't have to answer quarter to quarter business results, and they really do. Again, I say this over and over, plan for the long term.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a great organization to represent.
One of what I believe is a great bugaboo in government, and I have never understood the estate tax. And the reason I say that is, why should government tax money that's already been taxed once, maybe twice? Why does government own half of what we do in our lives? I never understood it and never will.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a really simple answer to that, and it is all about politics. Has nothing to do with economics, has nothing to do with the revenue. The estate tax has never generated more than 1.5% of revenue. It's a rounding error. It's in existence. It's because it's been good for both parties. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's good for both parties because they can attack the wealthy. And unfortunately, they perceive the estate tax as being only a wealthy person's issue, and that's not true. Family businesses wealth, but they don't have liquid wealth. But they're lumped into all that have any sort of wealth. So we call it, successful people are the ones paying this estate tax. The ones that really hurt are not those people that have the liquid wealth. It's family businesses that don't have the liquid wealth, and that's why this year estate tax is number 2 on the list of what's important economic priorities for family businesses. So, for someone that's worked on that tax for 25 years. When I started working on it, the exemption was $650,000, now $11.7 million, and the rate was 55%. Be gone. As I said, the only reason it's gone away is it's been both.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate. And you mentioned it's number 2 on your list. The tax rate, is that number 1?
Income tax is number 1 this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's because people are very worried about these surtaxes, and because, family businesses operate through these pass-throughs, as I mentioned. So they're paying 30 to 35% tax rates because most of them operate as a pass-through, not a corporation, not a C Corp, and where C Corps have 21%. So they're finding a terrible disadvantage in terms of on the income tax.
Yeah, I had an S Corp for 14 years, so I recognize that. So I'm going to take our last break, come back, and we'll have our last segment with Pat and John as we return from Family Enterprise USA, and they'll be in town for the Great Lakes Bay Economic Club meeting noon today at the Writers Center. No, not the Writers Center, the Commons and the banquet facility at Saginaw Valley State University.
When you're up in your sprayer, working your soybean fields, where are you looking? In front of you, so you don't roll into a ditch? To your sides, to see how the boom is doing? Over at your monitors? Down at your phone? Those places. But there's one more place you should look. Straight ahead into the future. Because how you're farming now will affect how you're able to farm over the next few seasons. If you're only using one side of action, weeds will only become more and more resistant to your preferred chemistries. That's why, if you've made the smart decision to plant Enlist E3 soybeans, don't stop there. Protect them with Enlist herbicides. Their superior tank mix flexibility easily allows for multiple sites of action. Together, you're able to better protect your soybeans and manage resistance beyond this season. Visit Enlist.com. What a better weed control system can bring to your fields, now and tomorrow.
A good grower always knows the forecast, and with interest rates forecasted to rise in the near future, there's never been a better time to lock in a historically low rate on a new irrigation system at your local Zematic dealer. For a limited time, get an additional 1% interest rate discount on already low financing and the earliest delivery dates in the industry, so your new Zematic pivot is ready to roll this spring. Terms and conditions apply. See your local dealer or visit lindsay.com/spring sale for full details.
Since the pandemic, I'm so anxious all the time.
Sleep.
I need someone to talk to who's not going to judge me.
For emotional support any time of the day or night, talk to a Stay Well counselor. Dial 1-888-535-6136 and press 8. It's free and confidential, and one of the many ways to stay mentally healthy. Learn more at michigan.gov/staywell. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring this to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed, great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All season long, it's Tigers baseball.
Backhanded on the in-between hop by Candelario at third. Throws to first. He got him. What a play. Soto ready. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes.
99, baby.
This one's got a chance. Grand slam. Home run for Jonathan Scope.
Listen on weekends throughout March for special spring training game coverage.
Then start April 8th. The Tigers roar all season long.
On News Radio 790 WSGW.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him, and the Tigers take the series in Texas. Terrific job from Gregory Soto.
The countdown is on. 18 days until opening day. The Tigers play on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, talking to Pat Saldano. She is the president and CEO of Family Enterprise USA. And John Gugliada, he is the director of strategic relationships. John, let me ask you, if a family business is interested in joining FEUSA, where do they get more information? How do they go about doing it?
Oh, they can go right to our website at Family Enterprise USA. There's plenty of information there. Actually, you can download the survey. I don't know if we have the new one on there, but it will be on there soon. But yeah, they can go right to our site. They can find out a bunch of information right there.
All right, Pat, let's look into the Saldano crystal ball. I know you have one. And tell us what the outlook is for family business over, say, the next 5 years.
Well, I'm very optimistic because I think family businesses are optimistic, and as I keep saying, they're resilient. So I think, as we work on fighting back against some of this punitive legislation, I think there's a great outlook. And they always seem to, pivot and adjust and deal with what's put before them. But I think we all know that we've got the midterms coming up, and that's most prognosticators say that the House will probably become Republican, and I'm hearing that from Democrats and Republicans. And there's kind of people are split on where the Senate's going to go. Is it going to stay where it is, or is it going to flip? And I think most people would say it could just stay where it is. So I don't know what that does, but it makes things a lot more difficult to get done in D.C. The Democrats are having their own challenges. Everybody knows within the party. Progressives and the moderates, and the Republicans have a similar they've got the Trumpers and the no Trumpers. So things are so chaotic. 25 years that I've worked on the Hill, I've never seen it. First of all, I've never seen this kind of partisanship. It's very, very sad. They don't even speak to each other like they used to be able to meet and agree and make things happen. That's why the Problem Solvers Caucus is so important. So I think if the parties can do a better job of uniting and working together, get some things done, I think that the country will be in a better place, and that means family businesses are going to be in a better place. But I think that John's point about joining the organization, we work with all these family business centers, have an advocacy arm, as you pointed out. That's all we do. We don't do workshops. We don't do education events as they do on succession planning. So that's why we're really thrilled to be here. The Stevens Center, and Regina's been just fantastic in hosting us and asking us to come. That's what we want to do, is get the information out to family businesses so they can have a bright future, so they really can be able to run their businesses every day and not worried about changes in regulation, which in terms of their concerns this year, it's number 3 on their list. It's usually number 2, 3, or 4. And number 4 on their list is inflation, which didn't even used to be on the list. So and market, turn down recession is always on the top of their mind, but I think they're less concerned about that right now. And so, again, the short answer is I'm optimistic that there's a bright future, but I think that's really a function of the characteristics of family businesses and how they operate.
Well, Pat, we look forward to meeting you this afternoon at the Great Lakes Bay Economic Club, and we thank you for being with us today. And John, you too. Have a great day, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you
Thanks
so much
for having us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We'll see you later. Bye-bye now. Pat Saldano and John Gugliada, and they are from the Family Enterprise USA. We'll take our last break this hour and then come back and get ready for the next.
Business trip coming up soon? Finally, taking that much-needed vacation. MBS International Airport is your premier airport for personal and business travel. With services through Delta and United Airlines, you will feel upgraded as soon as you walk through the door. Book your flight today at mbsairport.org and let us help you see the world.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we only need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spend, his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for an adventure at the Frankenmuth Aerial Park for only $21. It's usually $42. You are getting it half off. With everything slowly but surely starting to thaw out, it's time to get outside and have some fun. This deal gives you admission for our weekday or weekend session at the Frankenmuth Aerial Park. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The WSGW Morning Team Show.
The WSW online poll, USA helping Ukraine. As the Russian attacks continue, there is questions of how the U.S. should support Ukraine. Should we tighten sanctions even more? Should we provide those missiles and airplanes or other equipment, whether it's direct or indirectly? Should we be concerned about doing anything with the fear of maybe some escalation of this already tense relationship?
A no-fly zone is escalatory and could prompt a war with Russia.
American strength is not the problem. Yes.
So the poll question is, what do you think is the best way that the USA can support Ukraine? Tighten those sanctions even more. Provide those missiles and planes or equipment in whatever way necessary. Offer humanitarian aid only, trying to avoid the military conflict. Maybe you don't think we should support Ukraine at all, or you're not sure. We want you to go to WSW.com and scroll down the homepage and make your vote when you find the online poll box.
The Morning Team, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for the first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Thank you for being with us. We thank Pat and John for being with us, too, from the Family Enterprise USA. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk to Senator Jim Stamas about things happening or not happening in Lansing, either way. But before we get to that, we have news coming up from CBS, the national and international report. We'll have the local report for you, too. Everything happening in the Great Lakes Bay region in the state of Michigan. After that, it's on to the next hour of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
From the premier kitchen and bath gallery studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton. This on the hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. An explosion rocking a devastated shopping mall in Ukraine's capital, where at least 8 people were killed by shelling earlier in the day. Kyiv's mayor says shops, pharmacies, and gas stations will be closed at least through tomorrow. Diplomatic efforts seem to be going nowhere. Correspondent Wendy Gillette is near the Polish border.
Ukraine turned down a proposal to send up a white flag in Mariupol in exchange for humanitarian corridors there. It would have allowed 2 corridors, one heading east towards Russia and one west into other parts of the country. Ukraine's deputy prime minister said there can be no talk of any surrender.
Thousands of refugees are still crossing from Ukraine to Poland every day. Oksana Smarkowska flew into Warsaw from Miami to pick up her parents. She blames Vladimir Putin for dividing neighbors.
We were always friends. We were always like friendly countries. We were always like supporting each other. We had families, friends. Ukraine were always like very friendly, and at this point, unfortunately, like he makes it like we are all like enemies to each other.
Historic confirmation hearings get underway in the Senate next hour. Lawmakers on the Judiciary Committee begin considering Judge Ketanji Jackson Brown for the Supreme Court, the first Black woman to be nominated. CBS's Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
These hearings will last for 4 days, but today is really all about introductions. Judge Jackson will deliver an opening statement, then she'll be questioned by senators starting tomorrow. And a White House official confirms to CBS News that President Biden and Vice President Harris are expected to watch some of the proceedings.
Health update on another Supreme Court justice.
Those of us, particularly in the federal judiciary with lifetime appointments, are asking for trouble.
Statement from the court says 73-year-old Clarence Thomas should be released from a Washington hospital in the next few days. He was admitted Friday and diagnosed with an unspecified infection. In China, state media reporting a Boeing 737 crashed and burned in the southern province of Guangxi. The BBC's Stephen McDonald is in Beijing.
There were 132 people on board, and there are fears that none of them have survived. China generally has a good air safety record, and there's so far been no information relating to the cause of this crash.
Deadly wildfires are still raging in parts of Texas, but a storm system could bring much-needed rain today. These people in Ranger, Texas, were forced from their homes.
Numbness, heartbroken.
There's just this palpable fear mingled with disbelief.
Everybody cried. All of us cried.
Flames broke out Friday. S&P futures are down 6. This is CBS News.
If cold winter calls have turned into warm spring leads, you need Indeed, the all-in-one platform to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Your career takes flight. Teams at Soaring Eagle and Saginaw Eagles Landing. The premier gaming and entertainment destinations in Michigan are currently hiring for a wide variety of positions for all levels of experience. Visit us online at SoaringEagleCasino.com for a full list of openings and learn about all the benefits and the new $15 an hour minimum wage. Apply today at Soaring Eagle Casino Resort and Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why are you paying full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals right now from Salon Blue Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift Creative Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 39 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. A former educator and Vassar police officer was arrested last Thursday in a human trafficking sting. 44-year-old Todd Barrico is accused of possessing child sexually abusive material, communication with another to commit a crime, and accosting a child for immoral purposes. Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson says the Genesee Human Trafficking Oppression Strike Team, or GHOST, conducted a 4-month-long investigation into 13 people, with officers often posing as underage kids online and chatting with the suspects. Swanson says Barrico believed he was speaking with a 15-year-old and was arrested when he went to meet with the child for sex. Barrico was fired from the Vassar Police Department following his arrest. Swanson says he also left Inlay City Schools as the Dean of Students in 2014, the assistant principal of Westwood High School in 2015, and resigned from Merrill Community Middle and High Schools in 2016. Swanson urges anyone who may have been a victim of any of the suspects to safely come forward. The recent closure of the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center is due to a pending sale of the property. WNEM-TV reports the 74-year-old owner of the business lost a lot of money. The resort has canceled several events planned at the resort this year, leaving those groups in limbo. The potential buyer also will not be keeping the business as a resort or a hotel, according to former general manager Elizabeth Clay. However, the golf course is to remain open throughout the year. Anyone who had events planned at Bay Valley are encouraged to contact other local venues as soon as possible. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
You are invited to join the Great Lakes Bay Economic Club this Monday, March 21st, 11:45 a.m. at SVSU's Curtis Hall to learn about Impact. Patricia Soldano, president of Family Enterprise USA and senior fellow at the Drucker School Global Family Business Institute, is the keynote speaker. She will cover legislative issues, voter attitudes, and the economic impact of family businesses. Sign up now at glbec.org for this highly informative lunch this Monday at SVSU's Curtis Hall. That's glbec.org to learn more and get signed up.
Have you recently tested positive for COVID-19? You may be eligible for therapeutics like antiviral medications and antibody therapy, which could reduce your risk of hospitalization and death. If you are a high-risk patient, talk to your healthcare provider about your options. To learn more about COVID-19 therapeutics, go to michigan.gov/COVID therapy. By the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has vetoed Republicans' proposal to permanently cut the state income tax, make more seniors eligible for deductions, and restore a child tax credit. On Friday, she said it would strip funding for basic government services. The veto, which was expected, may prompt negotiations between Republican legislative leaders and the Democratic governor, who has called for a more targeted tax breaks for retirees and lower wage workers. While Michigan has a budget surplus, her administration says it's largely one-time revenue that cannot be counted on in future years. Republicans have accused the governor of missing an opportunity to help residents grappling with inflation. Satellites and spacecrafts in space circling above our heads, but where do they go when they die? And believe it or not, there is a space graveyard called Point Nemo. Here's Mike Murray with Delta College Planetarium.
It's in a very huge uninhabited zone, sometimes called the South Pacific Uninhabited Zone, and it's east of New Zealand and west of South America. And so with this huge area, you lessen the chances of it hitting human-habited areas.
Murray says more than 263 pieces of space debris have been sunk in the area since 1971, include Russia's Mir space station and NASA's first space station, Skylab. He says it will be the final resting place for the International Space Station when it is decommissioned. Albert Ogletree was a name represented by an image of an oak leaf at the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York until a bit of sleuthing led to a 1966 Michigan high school yearbook. On Tuesday, the museum added Ogletree's Romulus High School freshman year photo to its memorial exhibition gallery. His photo was only one of two of the nearly 3,000 that the museum has not been able to locate since it opened in 2014. Ogletree was working in a cafeteria in the World Trade Center's North Tower on September 11, 2001, when terrorists flew a hijacked plane into the building. WSGW News Time, 10:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. We'll see a few spotty rain showers possible late today, otherwise increasing cloud cover with a high into the upper 40s. We'll have northeast winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for tonight, a slight chance for rain showers early on, mostly cloudy sky conditions and a low near 36. By Tuesday, cloudy skies high around 45 degrees. Then on Wednesday, a chance for some rain showers here, cloudy sky conditions, a high of 49. For rain, cloudy, high of 47 degrees. Then by Friday, mostly cloudy sky conditions, a high of 45. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 40.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW from my Saginaw Spirit home studio. Brought to you by Pinnacle Realty and Linda Shepard at 989-295-7713. Have Linda go to work for your real estate needs. Stop in and visit her at the Point, M46 and M47 in Saginaw Township. And while you're there, visit Cafe 476, their delicious soups, foods, and beverages. We're going to find out what's happening in the state of Michigan right now. We're going to do that by chatting with State Senator Jim Stamas from the 36th District. Jim, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
We're doing well, thanks. So I guess I should start out by asking what's new in the state Senate? The governor just vetoed some tax legislation, and you move forward with more now?
I hope so. I think that the bill that the governor vetoed, I think on Friday, was one that was focused at Michigan families, whether it was or childbirth, and it included exemptions for our seniors for the retirement, to add back some of the exemptions. And so, it was about a cost of $2.5 billion, and it certainly, I think, was a first step in the legislature showing and demonstrating to the governor we're serious about a tax cut for our families. But in addition to that, it was not unexpected that she would veto it, but also demonstrated that we have the dollars within the current budget to do something like this. And as the leader spoke on the floor just last week regarding the gas tax exemption or temporary suspension, we're ready and willing to have a positive discussion on how we do that. The governor's called for earned income tax to amending the exemptions on the senior retirement income, and so. I think it provided a demonstration that we have the ability to get bipartisan votes, but at the same time, it's how do we actually get one accomplished that gets across the line that both the Michigan Senate, the Michigan House, and the governor can sign. So a lot going on as far as positioning, and quite honestly, I think positive discussion that each side continues to say that they're open for that discussion, and how do we best arrive at that? So
is it your best
on that part?
Is it your best guess that you come back with a piecemeal type proposal where you break it up into individual parts and pass legislation on each and every part, and then submit them individually?
It's possible, or if we have an agreement, it's likely that it would have to be in multiple bills anyways, because there are different parts of the Public Act. And so it would probably have to come through separate bills as it goes anyways. But it's I think it's the probability that we do find an opportunity to come to an agreement is strong. It's just that there's a lot of positioning between now and when we actually get there.
Let me ask another budgetary question. The state got a windfall of a lot of money from the federal government because of the pandemic. How much of it has been spent, and how much is there left to spend?
There's a little over $8 billion that's still out there that we are working on. We're actually very close to, I think, an agreement on the water supplemental and or more of an infrastructure supplemental. Multiple bills have been sent out, whether we're talking about the dams, the PFAS, blood lines, and or upgrading our public wastewater treatment, discussion on broadband, more discussion on roads and bridges, as well as other parts of actual infrastructure that we can improve on. And so we're very close to, I think, coming up and coming to an agreement on all three sides, the Senate, the House, and the governor's office. So I think that's a positive where we're at with it. We've spent a little bit over 18 to 20 billion through all of the different emergency dollars that we received from the federal government at this point.
Early on in the pandemic, there wasn't a lot of conversation between the governor and the legislature. Has that improved now? Do you find that she's more willing to sit down and talk?
She has been. We're also receiving with, Director Hertel. I think it's been a positive conversation on the actions, especially regarding the pandemic. Having Director Hertel there has also improved the conversation between the legislature as well. But yes, I think that there has been a substantial improvement between either the speaker and the governor on where we're going with that.
Where are you politically now in terms of your length of service? Are you in your second term or your first term?
I am in my 14th year. I'm in my last year, so I'm second term, and have almost just about 8 months left, maybe 9.
So you won't be running for the new district, whatever it looks like, huh?
No, I will not be. I had the opportunity to serve as a township trustee for 8 years, a county commissioner, or now a state rep for 6, and a senator. I'm in my last of 8 years. I'm ready to get back into the private world and see what else goes. We have term limits. I think that they're too short, especially for the House. I think that causes us more problems than it resolves. But the 14 years is certainly. I'm not upset that I'm ready to move on. So I think the 14 years, something like that, is a substantial period of time and commitment, but is probably, I think it's what the average stay was as senators and or representatives for most of them before we had term limits, actually.
If we look at term limits, I mean, there have been some folks that have talked about proposing a 12 and 12 system, 12 years for the House, 12 years for the Senate. Could you support that, or are you against term limits as a concept?
I think we have term limits. They're called elections. But at the same time, I think that 12-year, is a reasonable period of time. I think the bigger challenge is how do we move that transition from coming from the House to the Senate? I think that is something that is starting to, I think, diminish our Senate is by we have currently 9 members that got served in the other chamber, and in the Senate with that many less representatives, 110 versus 38. The amount of work hasn't gone away. It's just it's more focused on those 38 senators and having some pre-knowledge and or experience from the House. Strengthens, I think, the ability of the Senate to continue to provide that second type of vision and or policy discussion and vision where we're going. And so I would support a 12 by 12, 12 and 12. But honestly, I would say even if we could not count the first 4 years against a House member that's coming to the Senate, I think that provides a better opportunity to strengthen the decision and or both chambers.
All right, Jim, hang on. I've got to take a quick break here. We'll be back. We're talking to State Senator Jim Stamas on the Art Lewis Show. And let me ask folks, how'd you sleep last night? Because today we're asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed and you theoretically spend a third of your life there, you need quality sleep. And it's the kind of sleep you can get with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your dollars are spent and they stay right here in our local economy. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but don't be fooled. You can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. And they feature 1-hour window delivery of your mattress to your home. If you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress for you, something the box stores can't do. Visit the Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom, serving this area since 1935. Set your GPS to 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them on the web at sanitarymattress.com or call them at 989-753-1757. Sanitary Mattress. Give them a call today.
Annette Glenn shares the values of families in mid-Michigan. American Conservative Union ranked Annette's voting record 6th most conservative in the state house. We need Annette fighting for families in the state Senate. Paid for by Annette Glenn for state Senate.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. HungerInAmerica.org, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine Pancreatic Insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
Diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened modestly lower after last week's rally pushed Wall Street to its strongest week since November of 2020. Though oil prices are higher this morning, over $100 a barrel, and Boeing shares are a drag on the Dow after a Boeing 737 passenger plane crashed. It was not a MAX jet, which has not resumed flying in China. Insurance company Allegheny is rallying. Allegheny is being sold to Berkshire Hathaway. Wendy's shares are seeing some upside after upbeat comments on the company in Barron's. Analysts at Evercore say unlike other companies that are dealing with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the impact on their business, more than 93% of Wendy's is domestic. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosolda, invested in you.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can in Troy and Ann Arbor. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3.
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match. Instant candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Tom Sullivan Show.
Are the kids aware that there's a big fight among the adults over masks? Do they even care? I like your point. At young ages, we all just follow whatever the teacher says.
They seem to be just going about it as a child. They seem to be fine.
That's my impression.
Tom Sullivan.
But the parents are out there with their hair on fire talking about how we need to wear masks or, well, we can't wear masks.
Weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
Back with you on the Art Lewis Show, talking to State Senator Jim Stamas. Jim, and we talked about taxes and tax relief. Let's move on to something more important locally, the dams. Are you satisfied that the money is there now to rebuild the dams and get things back to normal in the region?
No, not at the moment. I feel that the Senate and the Michigan Legislature and the governor are very close to an agreement to provide over $250 million towards the region to help with that. But I think that we're also currently in somewhat of a time constraint because the Four Lakes Task Force has now had to start working with the 4 local governments that are involved, asking them to put the good faith and trust or bond as they move forward with an assessment for it. And that assessment will, look different if we're not able to secure those dollars. But I'm hopeful that, my hope is that by the end of this week, we have something we're sending to the governor. I think we're close. I'll feel much better after we have that.
Yeah.
Without that, then it's a substantial, commitment on the residents that would be assessed in that area if they move forward with it, because you're talking, $250, $300 million over, a long period of time that would have to be bonded and, and paid for. And so that's a bigger discussion to go. But I'm hopeful and feel that we're in a very positive place at the moment. We just need to hopefully finish it up this week.
I've said in the past, I always thought it would be a double slap in the face to the homeowners to get taxed on top of what they already pay, considering how many of them lost property and everything else. What about?
I agree.
What about either ARPA money or infrastructure money? Was there any in either of those that could be used for the dams?
Not in the ARPA, and on the infrastructure dollars. It's we believe that there are some dollars in there for dams, but the federal government hasn't given any specific guidance, and so at the moment we're looking at probably general fund dollars versus any of the federal dollars. Unfortunately, it would be nice if we were able to use those infrastructure dollars. They're just isn't an amount that is specifically available at this point. And so, I think the timing requires us to move forward now versus waiting to find out because of all of the procedures moving to set up that assessment that has to be ongoing. I think the assessment is something that's needed on the residents for the long-term maintenance, but I don't want to see an assessment that's paying for the whole reconstruction of it.
Right.
So I think that would be a positive.
So what else is on the table in the state? What are some of the bigger issues that you're facing coming up soon?
No, I think the big one for me, being approached here as the governor's put forward her budget of $74.1 billion. So currently the Senate and the House subcommittees are all now doing hearings and taking testimony both from the department and stakeholders across the state on where we start and how do we reconcile our differences and what those differences are with the governor's recommendation. So it's in a positive place at this point. It's on schedule. Our hope is that the recommendations will come out shortly after we return from the spring in-district work period, which is coming up, I think starts next week. And so I think that part is in a positive manner going on. But the larger discussion out there, I'm not part of it, but because of different committees, but is the integration of both mental health and our health, especially through our community services and that. And so currently they're two separate things, and we sort of box almost all of our mental health issues into our community health programs versus working with both private industry as well as others on the reimbursement. And so I think it would be a huge step forward if we're able to actually find and provide a way that we can change the dynamics that we currently have.
Under Governor Snyder, the budgets got passed pretty early on in the spring, like May, June. Any chance of that happening now?
I think that there's a good chance that it would be high, especially in the election year. But that's our hope is, and our goal is to be done into June, early July. That's our target to get this accomplished. Last year, we were able to get the school budget done, but not the local government and or the rest of the state budget. And so I'm, I think, more hopeful that this year we actually are on track and have the communications going to be able to accomplish that. So I think that's a positive.
All right, and Jim, in conclusion, what are your thoughts on the redistricting commission and what they've done and how the districts look?
I'm very discouraged with how the districts look. I don't think that they took into any considerations communities and or like services as they discussed. I think the one and only goal was to create 50-50 districts. They've done that, but clearly the way that they've drawn the lines, and many people voted for this change to the redistricting commission based on them talking about how horrible the lines are. But if you look at these lines versus what they had been done in prior, even crazier, quite frankly. My other concern with the redistricting commission is that they are unbridled in their expenses, and they're already over $2 million beyond what the state had, the state had authorized for them to spend, and that's before they have even taken out the majority of the fights within the courts. And so they also just voted themselves a pay increase, which I find insulting as well. So I'm very disappointed. I don't think that this is even close to what the Michigan people going to this thought that they were going to be getting.
Well, Senator, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, and can't wait to see what you do in the private world.
I look forward to that. And as always, I enjoyed the conversations with you, Art, and you always bring an equal and balanced perspective, and that's what I like about the show. try to listen to it as often as I possibly can. So thanks, Art.
Senator Stamas, thanks for being with us today. Have a great day. We'll talk again.
You as well.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye now. Senator Jim Stamas, we thank him for joining us here on the Art Lewis Show. And gee whiz, I touched the button. It was the wrong button. I meant to touch this one.
Welcome to the trees. Frankenmuth Aerial Park is gearing up for the 2022 season. Here's your chance to come and work in this exciting outdoor industry. There are now monitors, park host, and park supervisors. These jobs range from entry-level supervisory roles and come with fantastic perks, fun people, and room to grow within the company. Click on the Gold Now Hiring button and find all the specific information about these opportunities at zipandclimb.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 1-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
When it comes to cereal disease protection, Prosaro Pro 400 SC fungicide from Bayer makes all the difference. With 3 effective active ingredients for overlapping control of foliar and head diseases and a flexible application window for head scab, it's formulated to lower DON, protect yield potential, and promote superior grain quality. Prosaro Pro, the future of plant health starts here. Visit prosaropro.com to learn more. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Hi, it's Rick. I'm at the...
Leaves and autumn bookings pile up for Rick's gutter cleaning service.
He's out? Come on.
He needs help before his bottom line gets clogged.
Okay, well, what about Cristiano? We still got 6 houses today.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, a WSGW Morning Team Show memorable moment.
Lionel Richie has created fragrances called Hello.
Oh.
And it's a fragrance for women.
That's actually neat.
And men.
Oh.
The ceiling, brick house. He was part of the Commodores.
You've been paying a lot of attention to his fragrances.
When it came to crafting a fragrance, he said it's not like crafting a song. It's just a careful arrangement of notes for a song. Now it's a careful arrangement of whatever your fragrance is going to be. So, but I have descriptions here. So the women's fragrance has pear, jasmine, tuberose, and honey. The men have grapefruit, lavender, violet leaves, and vetiver. You can smell like Lionel Richie. Men's and women's versions. Hello. The holiday.
Oh, you'll wear it all night long.
Oh, Pat.
One line after another. He knows his Lionel
Truly.
Richie, doesn't he?
The WSGW Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, and in the time we have remaining this hour, we'll have open phones for you, whatever you'd like to chat about. Saginaw Bay City 752-6111 is the number to call. love to talk to you. Remember, it's 989-752-6111. Today is the day that Supreme Court nominated Ketanji Brown Jackson. Faces a Senate hearing. It's going to be interesting. I think, first of all, it's hard to say anything very negative about her judicial prowess. She has proven herself time and time again. And she is replacing Judge Breyer, a liberal on the court. She herself probably liberal. So it doesn't change anything. It's still a 6-3 court. And she has been before the Senate several times before to be affirmed for various judgeships. So I think while there'll be tough questions, I don't think it will be as cantankerous as past hearings have been. And I think in the end, she is liable to get a sizable number of Republicans to vote yes. It'll be interesting to watch. But I don't think this is going to be as dramatic as some of the past ones have been, because in the past, it could have changed, and it did change the balance of the court. Also noted today, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was hospitalized with an infection, and he was given intravenous antibiotics. They said that he will be going home soon. Not COVID related. He is the longest serving member of the panel, 3 decades on the court. And, it would be a different situation if Judge Thomas were to resign or leave the court or, God forbid, pass on. Then Joe Biden will have a chance to bring the court back into a closer balance, 5-4 rather than 6-3. That would be a contentious hearing. That would be an all-out, no matter who it was, it'd be an all-out blast. But I don't expect Judge Jackson to face the same kind of harsh questioning that recent nominees have faced in the Senate hearings. I think this one will be a little smoother and more like the old days of SCOTUS hearings, where they asked the tough questions, but the votes pretty much were lopsided in favor of the candidate. We'll have to watch and see, but they start today. President going to be visiting Poland on a European trip this week to talk with NATO and European allies. There was a story, a question, and it was, it's kind of a Cold War dilemma. Does the president risk being weak or risk a world war, is the way this headline was structured? I think he's been both. He wanted to avoid the world war, and he's been a little weak in it. I think, and I've said this, I mentioned this last week too, I think this whole issue of the Polish jets being sent to the Ukraine could be solved in an instant. Have the Ukrainian pilots go to Poland, pick up the jets, and fly them home. I don't understand why Poland wants to deliver them to Germany, and they want American pilots to fly MiGs into the Ukraine. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Have the Ukrainians, who are familiar with the aircraft, they're trained to fly the MiG-29. They know the aircraft inside out. Have them go to Poland, pick them up, take them, into the war zone. The U.S., in the meantime, could easily resupply Poland with F-16s and whatever training is needed to bring their pilots up to speed on the F-16s. That just, to me, seems so easy. But, of course, we're not sitting there in the negotiations. We don't, we're looking at it as outsiders. Sometimes we come up with really simple solutions that turn out to be too simplistic. But I don't understand why the Ukrainians can't go to Poland and simply pick up the jets. They're familiar with them. They know how to fly them. And they're good pilots from all accounts. So time will tell. The other unknown is what happens when you corner an animal. How does the animal strike back at you? And that is the situation Putin finds himself in today. His back is against the wall. What he thought would take 3 days to go in, liberate Kyiv, put a new government in place, is a month old, and he hasn't made a lot of progress other than bombing a lot of citizens in their houses. He's frustrated. His back's against the wall. Everybody in the world knows it except the Russians, because they're fed a load of hooey in a very restricted kind of way. You think about it, this whole situation points out the beauty of living in a free country like the United States. Think of how restricted life is in Russia. You only hear what the government wants you to hear. The very thing that our founding fathers feared, which is why we have the First Amendment and a free press and the right to free speech. We have all of that because the founding fathers were wise enough to not want us to be in a situation where the government controlled everything and citizens had no redress against their government. Aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky? I feel very sorry for the people of Ukraine who have come under attack, and I feel even sorrier for the people in Russia who have no idea why they're doing what they're doing. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to Bob in Nashville when we return.
M&R Garage Door wants to invite everyone who missed them at the Saginaw Home and Garden Show to stop by their showroom to see what's new with garage doors. They want to remind you that home experts agree that replacing your old garage door with an M&R door can instantly transform the look and curb appeal of your home more than any other exterior improvement. They can professionally install your garage door and opener. M&R has trained staff to stand behind 894-0971. That's 894-0971. M&R Garage Door. Service is their specialty.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine Pancreatic Insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and
EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for an adventure at the Frankenmuth Aerial Park for only $21. It's usually $40 half off. With everything slowly but surely starting to thaw out, it's time to get outside and have some fun. This deal gives you admission for one for a 2-hour weekday or weekend session at the Frankenmuth Aerial Park. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Trying to find when and where you Michigan football and basketball, Saginaw Spirit hockey, and SVSU football on WSGW? Just click on the sports broadcast box on WSGW.com for complete game time listings. That's WSGW.com.
All right, we're back, and we're going to head down to Nashville, Tennessee, and talk to Bob this morning. Bob. Morning.
You're not coming in to.
You hear me?
A little better.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Last Friday, you had your expert on car maintenance.
Yep.
And I just caught the very tail end of that conversation when he mentioned the kind of gasoline that was best for your car. I missed that. Maybe you can help me jar my memory.
Well, best gasoline for your car is the one recommended by the manufacturer. What will happen if you have a car that has low octane recommendations, the 87 octane gas, in other words, regular gas. If you put a higher octane gasoline in the car, you might see a little performance boost. If you have a car that requires premium gasoline and you put a lesser grade in, you will degrade the performance of the car. Basically, the best gasoline for your car is the gasoline recommended by the manufacturers. If you have a car that's recommended to burn 87 octane gas, all the computers, everything in that car is set up to efficiently burn 87 octane gas.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't, in other words, do you gain much by spending the additional dollar or whatever it costs you to get the premium? And the answer is probably no.
I see. Okay, well, that answers that question.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
Well, we're heading into a pretty good stretch, and we had pretty nice weather over the weekend. We did have some rain, but it's warmed up. We should be in the 40s today, which is average. We had a couple of days in the 60s. Not bad. Sunny today.
That sounds good. Finally, go blue in basketball.
I was waiting for somebody to call and say that. You're the first one, but yeah, they're moving on. Good deal. Let's hope they do well.
Yeah. Okay, then.
All right, Bob.
Thanks again.
Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye now.
You too.
Bye-bye. That's Bob down in Nashville, Tennessee, a transplant from this area down to Nashville, and he takes us along because he listens on the stream, which you can do anywhere in the country. We have a lot of folks in the wintertime, they go to Florida. We hear from them from time to time, but they listen because when they come back, I hear from them. And isn't technology grand today? All the things that we can do today that would have been far different just a few years ago. I mean, I sit here in my house and broadcast with the same quality that you get out of the broadcast studio in the radio station because of the technology and the equipment that's available today Not only that, if you want to see my ugly face, you can turn us on and watch the stream, the video stream, and listen to us that way. It is absolutely amazing. You know, in the old days, 20 years ago, maybe a little more, we would have had to run a whole bunch of cables outside to the van to a transmitter to shoot a signal to the radio station. Then came along portable Marty units, which shot a signal from the inside of the house to the van. The van would shoot the signal to the radio station. And while it was a good service, it wasn't the quality of what we're doing today, where we use voice over internet protocol and all of these things. It's a different world. Really is a different world. But, you know, listen, old goat like me, I had to learn a heck of a lot later in life because I didn't grow up with this kind of technology. I grew up when tubes were being used. My first class license that I got from the Federal Communications Commission as a technician was all about tubes when I took the test. There was no mention of solid state. That's how far back I go. Yeah, I know I'm old. But it's kind of a wonderful thing on the one hand. On the other hand, it's also brought about social media. And I'm not too sure about that. And that one, I don't know whether I'd call that a plus or a minus. There are some aspects of it that are positive, particularly families keeping in touch and things of that nature. But there are so many more negatives about it. So I don't participate very much in social media on purpose. Been hacked a couple of times. I said, that's it. I'm done. Anyhow, we will take our last break, come back and close out and tell you what's ahead on Focus this morning.
Because the challenges you face are getting bigger every year, BASF is committed to helping with more than boots on the ground. We're committed to boots in the mud, boots on the steps of your truck, your tractor, your combine, the linoleum tiles of your coffee shop, the concrete of your co-op, the gravel in your shed. So we can listen. Help right now to ensure success. BASF, helping you do the biggest job on earth.
Now at Menards, save big money in your next project with 11% off everything. Give your bathroom the update it deserves with Delta. Delta showers feature smooth wall surfaces that are mildew resistant and easy to clean. Right now, get 11% off all Delta showers. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through March 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
We're out of
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option, Saturday morning. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
WSGW is your station for the Tigers.
It's got a chance, and it's gone! Oh, my goodness. Home run for Purdue!
All season long, it's Tigers baseball.
Got a chance! 500! Miguel Cabrera has done it!
Listen on select weekends for special spring March.
Then, starting opening day, April 8th, the Tigers roar all season long.
Tigers baseball on WSGW.
Yes. I actually watched part of the Tigers-Yankees game yesterday, and I caught the last part of the game. Of course, the Tigers came back with 4 runs in the ninth to win the game. I am cautiously enthused and optimistic about the Tigers this year. More on that down the road, though. Stick around now for the news from CBS and the local report, and then we'll talk about the Children's Grief Center on Focus. That's all coming up next.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kafin. The nomination of the first African-American woman to the nation's highest court set history in motion. And right now in Washington, a Senate panel is beginning to consider that Supreme Court selection.
In advance of the hearing, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson met with every member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, the committee that will question her this week. Illinois Democratic Senator Dick Durbin is chairman.
Just as important record is her character and temperament. Humble, personable.
Republican leader Mitch McConnell tells Face the Nation he's not yet decided his vote.
I'm willing to listen to the testimony. That's why we have hearings.
After the judge's opening statement, each senator on the committee will get a 30-minute round of questions. The American Bar Association issued a formal rating that Judge Jackson is highly qualified. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In Ukraine, much attention focused on the southern city of Mariupol. Ukraine turned down a Russian offer to pull troops out safely and allow the Russians to take over. The fight there goes on. CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab.
President Zelensky calling on Vladimir Putin face-to-face talks, but the Kremlin is saying more progress needs to be made first in this war, which is now being called a bloody stalemate.
It's estimated more than 10 million people have fled Ukraine since the start of the invasion. That's a quarter of the country's population. Some Americans have gone to bordering nations to help out.
Oksana Smakovska moved from Ukraine to Florida 7 years ago. The Miami resident never imagined she would return under these conditions, picking up her parents at Ukraine's border with Poland. She says the past
news, making sure that they didn't bomb your city and making sure that their parents are alive.
She has one simple wish.
I just hope that there's going to be peace.
The Ukrainian border, Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
No word on any survivors in the crash of a Chinese airliner on a domestic flight. CBS's Vicki Barker.
The plane left Kunming in western China bound for the eastern coastal city of Guangzhou with 123 passengers and 9 crew aboard, but it 9 minutes into its flight, diving nearly 3,000 feet in just a few minutes.
An elected official from to be tried on charges stemming from the Capitol attack. A federal judge is hearing testimony in Coy Griffin's proceeding. Griffin's lawyers contend he peacefully led a prayer on the Capitol. Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 110 points. NASDAQ is down 45. The S&P is up about 6. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. Candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Mostly cloudy skies and 45 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. More than 1,900 Consumers Energy customers are without power in Bay and Saginaw counties. The outages were first reported around 6 this morning, though a cause for them has yet to be determined. Consumers says that crews on the scene are finding damage greater than first reported. The outages affect an area north and south from East Russell Road to Bradley Road and east and west from the Saginaw River to the Tuscola County line. Consumers' crews have been assigned to determine the problem. Restoration times are estimated around 12:45 p.m. A number of community programs are awaiting approval by Saginaw City Council this evening. Here's WSGW's Rick A.
Approved, Council would be voting to certify the 2022 Single Lot Assessment Tax Roll, approving the Community Development Block Grant Program Submission Program, the Home Program Submission Program, and the Homeless Assistance Program Emergency Solutions Grant Submission Program, each for the next program year. While those programs, related costs, and several road repair contracts totaling nearly $1 million are on the docket, the Council will also be discussing the transfer of a property at 519 Nimmons Street to the Saginaw County Land Bank for $1. The Saginaw County Land Bank currently owns the parcels at 515 and 509 Nimmons, as well as 3144 and 3134 Bundy Street, adjacent to the 519 Nimmons property. If approved, the Land Bank says it is all homeowners interested in purchasing them. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.
After a successful job fair over the weekend, the Great Lakes Loon still has dozens of positions open to job seekers. Seasonal positions include bartender, security guard, retail assistant, video production, scoreboard crew, and many more. Anyone interested in applying for a position can find information on the Loon's website at milb.com under the Club Info tab. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier and empower you about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. Authorities say a Kalamazoo police officer fatally shot a man when that man fired a handgun toward officers. The shooting happened around 10:30 a.m. Sunday after police were called to a neighborhood south of the city's downtown area about what the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety called suspected criminal activity. The department says after officers arrived, a 33-year-old man from Battle Creek fired shots, striking the man. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. No officers were injured, and Michigan State Police will oversee an investigation of the shooting. After 2 years of the pandemic, it appears many Michigan parents are ready to let loose this Easter break. Here's Michigan News Network's Sandra McNeil.
FamilyDestinationsGuide.com surveyed more than 4,700 parents this year about their spring break plans. For those who plan to fly out of state, their top destinations this year are the party towns, normally favored by partying students. Tops on the list, Key West, followed by Las Vegas and Miami Beach. Cancun and Cabo San Lucas also rounding out the top 7. Two say they are getting out of town this Easter break. Dads were slightly more likely to want to do that than moms.
State auditors say Michigan's unemployment agency did not require worker background checks or quickly deactivate former contract and state employees' computer access to the confidential benefit system amid unprecedented jobless claims early in the pandemic. The review released Friday flagged 4 material conditions, the most serious type of finding. The audit concluded the agency did an insufficient job both onboarding and offboarding thousands of workers to help with the deluge of new and continued claims. The Unemployment Insurance Agency agreed to make improvements. WSGW News Time 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. We'll see a few spotty rain showers possible late today. Otherwise, increasing cloud cover with a high into the upper 40s. We'll have northeast winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for tonight, a slight chance for rain showers early on. Mostly cloudy sky conditions and a low near 36. By Tuesday, cloudy skies high around 45 degrees. Then on Wednesday, a chance for some rain showers here. Cloudy sky conditions, a high of 49. Thursday, another chance for rain. Cloudy, high of 47 degrees. Mostly cloudy sky conditions, a high of 45. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 46.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Focus on WSGW. I'm Art Lewis from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio, and our program brought to you today by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. That's RoofMax with 2 X's. Today we're going to focus on an organization called the Children's Grief Center. We're going to find out about it, and to do that, we welcome to the program its Executive Director. We say good morning to Camille Nitschke. Camille, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, glad to have you with us this morning. So I think we need to start with an overview of the Children's Grief Center, what it is, what it does, and how it came about.
Okay, so we started in 2014, and our mission is that we create a healing environment through peer support for children, teens, and their families grieving a death. So it's specific to children who have had somebody close to them die. The ages that we serve are 5 to 18, and I don't say parent because in some cases both parents have died, and it might be a grandparent or an aunt bringing them, or foster parent, and so they also have a group as well that they can attend at the same time, and they learn how to help their kids. And sometimes they also get to work on their own grief too. It depends on the circumstances. We don't charge for groups. We have, wonderful donations from foundations and the community, and we have some events coming up I'm going to tell you about, but it's been an amazing process. We started in Midland and then Saginaw and Bay City. We have 4 thriving, almost at capacity. We had to actually start a second night in Midland. We've been here the longest, so that's probably why that is. But that second group is almost full. We come twice a month for from September to May. Some kids have been coming, for several years. I've got a child that came at 11 and he aged out, and as a 19-year-old, he comes back and volunteers at group. Wow. It's an amazing process.
Is this a state function at all, or is this totally independent?
It's totally independent, although we are a member of the National Alliance for Grieving Children, and I'm in a cohort of about 400 other grief centers around the country. And actually, I have a Zoom meeting at 2 o'clock today, and we work together. We all kind of are based on the same model of peer support that stems from the Dougie Center out in Portland, and they're about a 35-year-old organization. They have wonderful training. I went out there to get trained back in 2014. So it's not something that I dreamed up. It's something that was, data-based, evidence, based, proven, and It was like, if it's not broke, don't try to change it. And it works very well. And we started it here, and it just flourished and thrived because it was already a great model to follow.
Well, I have to ask, what did the pandemic and COVID-19 do for your demand for service?
Well, I'll tell you, we used to get like, one or two calls every couple weeks. And we have calls like sometimes 3 a day now. The filling up of the second night in Midland was part of I think some of the consequences of COVID deaths and just the need for grief support. It is a little bit different because some of these kids, they didn't get to say goodbye to their person. They didn't get to have a funeral, or just the idea of the stress that they've all been under. So all of our kids coming to group kind of connect and know they're not alone.
When a youngster
I just realized. So we had groups, last year, and so March 13th we had a shutdown. Obviously, everybody knows that. But the following week we had groups. We went right into Zoom. We didn't miss a beat. We had our camp last summer, and we still had a Zoom camp, and so just like anything with grief, we kind of practice the fact that at any time things can change in your life, and any time things can change here. And so we've learned to roll with it, and we don't say, "Oh, we can't do it." We say, "How can we do it?" And it's an amazing that happened.
So when a youngster comes to you who suffered a loss of a loved one, is it individual personal attention, or is it all done in a group setting?
So we start out in a group setting. They go around. We have circle time. It opens up. They come and they go by age group into 3 different rooms, sometimes 4 different rooms, depending on. Sometimes we have a couple. Like we might split our middler group, our 9 to 12-year-olds. Sometimes we have so many that we'll kind of break that up a little bit. But we have 4 age groups, and they start out every time with the basic structure of going around in a circle. They say their name, they say their age, they say who died. And we create that ritual because it's something consistent. They can count on it every week. It's also sometimes for a child that comes, it's the first time that they have said it out loud, that their person died, let alone to a group of people. But they say it, and all the kids in the group are nodding, like, we get it. And so it creates that connection, like right on the first night. And then they go off and they play in different areas, sometimes with each other, as a group. Sometimes a child will work with a volunteer and play Connect 4 the whole night. And next thing you know, they're telling their whole story as they're playing a game. So we use creativity and play and high energy, the space for them to do their work, their grief work, learn coping skills, identify feelings, but they don't even realize they're doing their work because it's involved with play and creativity. It's amazing to watch.
All right, Camille, hang on. I've got to take a break. We come back. We'll talk about some of the events coming up for the Children's Grief Center with Camille Nitschke, its executive director, and there's more ahead.
Soon your windows will be open, letting in that fresh air, birds chirping, and the feeling of spring is finally here. Now is the time to take a look around and start planning the home renovations you have been waiting for. Hi, this is Mary Ann from Warden Interior. We are excited to celebrate our 60th anniversary this year and want you to celebrate with us. Let our amazing design team help you get your home ready for spring. Come check out our new carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic, window treatments, and more. Do it yourself or get quality installation from our very own installers with professional and personal service. Warden Interiors has a terrific selection of colors in California Ultra Ceramic paint, the toughest and most durable paint available. Our showroom has it all. Stop in to see us on North Main Street in Frankenmuth. Warden Interiors celebrating 60 years. We'll help you bring it all together.
Business trip coming up soon? Finally, taking that much-needed vacation. MBS International Airport is your premier airport for personal and business travel. With services through Delta and United Airlines, you will feel upgraded as soon as you walk through the door. Book your flight today at mbsairport.org and let us help you see the world.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of the John Deere 1025R compact tractor.
Shaw stands
And he lives up to the name as he uses his versatile tractor to make
the earth take the shape that I wanted to take.
And the Allens fire up their John Deere 3032 E-Compact tractor to
grow about 9 acres of flowers.
Because the beauty of having land is deciding how to make it yours. There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3.
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring this to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says, we've got to redo the kitchen, and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety, and we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
The Money Pit on WSGW.
You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
And we're back with you on Focus, talking to Camille Nitschke. She's the executive director of the Children's Grief Center. So you mentioned, Camille, that you have some events coming up. So let's talk about them. What's happening?
We are so excited because this is our second annual Great Your Grief 5K Walk and Run. Our first annual last year, very first one, we had 398 in virtual, and we raised almost $50,000. And so this year our goal is to raise $100,000 for all the 3 different cities that we serve, our school groups. We do school groups, and we have sponsorships available. It's going to be in Saginaw this year at Ojibwe Island on May 14th. And last year it was in Midland. Next year it'll be in Bay City. It'll rotate. We have big dreams that the 2024 will have it simultaneously in all 3 cities with a huge party in Freeland. Just because it's a kind of a connector, just like we are. Grief kind of levels the playing field. It's all inclusive. It happens. It doesn't matter what your pocketbook is, what your race is, where you're from. It's all the same, and it's not all the same, but it's just a way that all of our 3 cities, there's just a bridge that we create with this, and so we're hoping to continue to do that. But we also have abilities to have teams, so you can walk in memory of a person and raise money that way for us. We have memorial signs that you can donate $50, and you have a beautiful yard sign with your person's picture that we put along the race. We have wonderful levels of sponsorships for the communities. Myron is a title sponsor. They've committed for 3 years, $10,000. And Fisher Companies is our lanyard sponsor, and Garber's been a sponsor. We could not do what we do without the communities that we serve, and everybody has stepped up. And we already have great attendance, people registering. We were, thanks to the Bay Area Runners Club, we were at the expo on Saturday. And we're able to reach a lot of the runners that were in the St. Patrick's Day race. Oh, my gosh, it was amazing. And I see us, maybe not being that big, but, continuing to grow. It's exciting.
And, of course, you mentioned something, and the last one was virtual. This one is not. This is in person, right?
Right.
Get out and walk.
Last year we had live person, too. We had live.
Oh, you did?
Combined, and then we did a virtual the week before. This year we've extended the virtual from May 7th to the 21st. So anytime in that frame time, you can register and you can run. And we're actually our crew and volunteers, we're going to set up dates during those 2 weeks to say, hey, the Children's Grief Center is doing a virtual run walk down at the Tridge at 5 o'clock on Thursday. Come join us. And so it'll be a way also for people to connect and just, walk in a group. It's fun that way. And then they learn more about what we do. Last year I got a call during the summer, and a woman needed services for her children. And I said, so how'd you hear about us? And she said, well, my brother ran in your race last year, and I watched his kids. And so, the race is, yes, about funding our services so that we can bring our programs to all the kids, but it's also about that outreach. And so that I always say to people, I hope you never need me or need us, but if you do, we're going to be there for you. And so the race is also a wonderful thing that's out there that people actually visually see and learn about us. So it's pretty cool.
And how does someone register or find out more information about it?
So you can go to childrensgriefglbr.org. You can call our office at 989-495-9335. And I'm learning that if you Google it, Children's Grief, we pop right up. So that's the easy way to do it.
And again, the race is going to be when?
May 14th. It's a timed event starting at 8, and then there's also an untimed race at 9. And we also have a kids color run that is at 10, I believe. It's kids 12 and under, and that's where they run around with the white shirts, and they get a shirt when they register, and they get powdered dye sprayed all over. They love it. You should come, Art. I'll get you a shirt.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. Well, listen.
I really appreciate you having us on today, Art, because this is how people learn about us, and you just never know the ripple effect of this. So thank you.
Anytime, Camille. We appreciate you being with us, too, and we appreciate what you do. Thanks a lot.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Bye.
Camille Nitschke, Executive Director of the Children's Grief Center. We thank her for joining us, and we thank you for joining us, too. Back to close out and move on to the market report after this.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind,